Today, it's Texas Tech and Iowa State. And now, with all the pregame analysis from the best, this is KMAC Red Raider Nation's Countdown to Kickoff, sponsored by Terry County Tractor.
Good morning and welcome into Red Raider Nation's Countdown to Kickoff. Texas Tech with another shot at bowl eligibility later today when they host the Iowa State Cyclones. David Collier alongside Mason Horodisky. Mason, 3 more chances.
Yes.
This might be the best one.
It's good to be back after that bye week, too. And thank goodness it was such a slow news week in between those 2 weeks.
Right. All right. Coming up, Texas Tech's defense. Solid against the run 2 weeks ago, you know, the last time the Red Raiders played, but they get a much stiffer test today when they go up against the Big 12's leading rusher.
Also ahead, our own Phil Mayer joins us to break down the other side of the ball for one of the best defensive players in the entire Big 12.
But, of course, we start with what Mason was talking about, the thing that didn't happen earlier this week, right, Mason?
I'm a unicorn in coaching. I have now been 4 places. I was at Crowley for 3 years. I was Cedar Hill for 20. I was Baylor at 5, and I will die here at Texas Tech. I really believe that, you know, you get somewhere and you make it the best, and y'all have already done that.
Yep, that's the big news earlier today. Texas Tech formally introducing the program's 17th head coach on Tuesday. Joey McGuire signing a 6-year, $20.2 million deal to take over the reins.
That's right. And while McGuire will begin his tenure later on next season, the guy who's going to be on the sideline for this game will still be Sonny Cumbie. The offensive coordinator will finish out the next 3 or 4 games as interim head coach in what could be an audition to stay on board with McGuire next year. Now, who knows what the future holds, but McGuire and Cumbie will tell you themselves, as far as the past goes, they've crossed paths plenty of times and have developed a great deal of respect for each other.
He's going to be a huge help with me being able to sit down with those guys one-on-one. He's got a great relationship with them. He already knows. I mean, trust me, he knows. He's got plenty of things to deal with to get ready for Saturday. I said, but, hey, just let me get through today. I know I'm going to be able to sit down with him and you know, just pick his brain and really have a good conversation of, you know, what's the next steps for both of us.
I've known Coach McGuire a really long time, you know, really since 2011 when I started recruiting Cedar Hill High School, and I've had a lot of great interactions. And when I was at TCU, we were just right down the road. So he's a good friend of mine, and I'm really excited for the passion and the energy that he brings here. And I have a lot of respect for him as a coach and then also as a leader.
I've yet to hear anyone really talk poorly about McGuire yet. Now Cumbie joining in on the welcome wagon. But Cumbie's going to be dealing with a wagon of a football team later on today when the Cyclones storm on into Lubbock. They're the 2nd best team in the Big 12 in points allowed defensively, in rushing yards allowed. They're the best in the conference in passing yards allowed. The list goes on. And when you have a defense that consistent across the board, you're going to have your work cut out for you. Sonny Cumbie breaks it down.
Yeah, no, their defensive front is really good. They're stout up front, and then secondary, they don't make mistakes. Really, that's the way they play their whole defense. Very assignment sound. They've done a great job with their scheme, and they play really, really hard. And so those guys, you know, up front, but, you know, our guys, you know, they play really hard too. And so I'm excited about the challenge. And I know they don't give you anything easy. And so that's the mindset and the preparation that we have to have in terms of the patience on offense and being able to execute routine play after routine play.
All right, it's time to fill in the blank. Phil Mayer joining us now. Phil, for Texas Tech to move the ball on that Iowa State defense today, it starts with blank.
Slowing down Will McDonald. McDonald has established himself as one of the best pass rushers in the Big 12 and really all of college football over these past couple of years. 10.5 sacks in a shortened season last year, and he's followed that up with double digits again, 10 sacks in just 9 games in 2021. His damage goes beyond the lost yardage from those sacks. 4 forced fumbles on the year places him 1 shy of the national lead. And if that wasn't enough, he's playing his best football of the year right now. 6.5 sacks in his past 4 games, including a career-high 2.5 in that demolition of Texas last week. McDonald primarily lines up over the right tackle, meaning it'll likely be Caleb Rogers who's tasked with that assignment today. A tall task for Rogers for sure.
Tall task for all those quarterbacks that can keep their head on a swivel as well, right? All right, Phil, we appreciate it. Time for our first break here on Red Raider Nation's Countdown to Kickoff. When we return, though, we check in with our friends from Des Moines for an even closer look at those Cyclones in the breakdown.
That's right, and later on, board games. All that and more coming up right after this.